Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of Red Zone in the Lab podcast. It's your boy Deuce back in the building. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, man. Happy 2026. Happy NFL 2026. The Commanders season is officially over. Lock and clean out some interviews. But we here today, man, for 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, we got the big interview. The press conference. Was scheduled to be Dan Quinn and Adam Peters. So we're going to see what that's all about. We're going to get into it, man, right after this.
I didn't make it true, playing by the rules. I come apart, baby, but never cool. I didn't make it true, playing by the rules. I come apart, baby, but never cool.
Man, we've been waiting a long time for this, baby. Red Zone in the Lab. Commanders. It's time. Let's get it, homie. We've signed back some reserve future contract guys, and that's usually the folk that's on the practice squad. We signed back about 10 of those players. Not too many of those players we're probably common fan is familiar with. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's just a few guys. Hold on a second. Let me see. I can't get to my page. Oh, here we go. All right, and we got a lot of as we go through this, let me think. We're gonna listen to some of the player interviews. See what some of you guys want to listen to as far as the player interviews, and we could talk about them. All right, let me see if this shows up. It's not really showing up how I want to. It's not really showing up how I want to. But these are some of the guys we brought back. All right, these are some of the guys we brought back. Ricky Barber, which we know who that is. He got a sack last week. And he played some D tackle for us these last couple games. They brought him up from the practice squad. They signed him back to a reserve futures contract. Jacoy Brooks, which we all know about. I want to, because I know he was injured during practice, so I wonder where he is as far as his recovery, because I haven't heard anything else about him since then. Trey Hawkins, the cornerback. Most of us are kind of familiar with him from training camp. Jacoby Jones, also. TJ Maguranya, the defensive end. I think he was activated at least once this year. Robert McDaniel, It's the HBCU guy, the safety. A lot of us was high on, and he's probably one of the protected players. I'm sure. Tim McKay, who was injured last year, he's undrafted free agent. We paid him a lot of money. He's one of the most coveted undrafted free agents. His draft stock plummeted because of the injury, but he was projected to be a mid-round pick. So they still have him. Darius Rush, the cornerback, and Carlin Vigors. And I think he also has HBCU ties. Those are all of the players that we brought back for reserve future contracts. Not big to say anything. A couple of these players we wanted to see what they had because of what we didn't. Right, Jacoby Brooks is one of them. Jacoby Jones was another one. You heard his name over the last couple of days because people wanted him to play. And Sam Hartman, right? Like, what do you actually think you're going to get from him with Sam Hartman at quarterback? You're not going to get much. Yep, that was him. Yep, the rugby guy. Yep, that's the TJ. I remember him being activated. I don't think he played though, but I do remember him being activated because we was down bad, bro. It was insane, man. It was insane. What are you all looking forward to? I'm trying to see what we're gonna be looking forward to from the interviews today, from the press conference rather. It's going to be interesting, right? Especially with the rumors from this past weekend with the rift between Adam Peters and Cliff Kingsbury. I wonder what that's going to look like because I know it's going to be one of the first questions that they ask. And I haven't heard that Josh Harris is going to be there or not. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll start out with them, thanking them for this year, and then kind of give it over to them. Maybe that's how it sets up, and then there will be questions back and forth with Quentin Peters, which probably Adam Peters answering most of them because it's not too much that we can ask Dan Quinn that we already don't know from this upcoming year. So that's going to be one of the first questions that I believe the reporter is going to throw out there. Is it true? Is there a rift with Cliff Kingsbury? Are you looking to get rid of Cliff Kingsbury? Right? Because we haven't seen any, as of right now, there have been no requests for him for any head coaching jobs as of right now. For him to interview for those jobs. I'm not sure exactly when, because I believe he has a 3-year deal, right? So it's his second year. So he's still under contract. So teams will have to request for him to interview. And it can't be denied if it's for a head coaching job opportunity, right? So we just got to see. We're not in the playoffs, so it's free game. If he's going to go, if any team wants to interview him, they're going to bring him in. So far, we haven't heard anything from any team wanting to interview Cliff as of right now. You got the Giants, which he was rumored to over the weekend too. Right after this rumor came out, nothing official with them yet. The Titans, nothing official with them yet. Who else? The Gannon, the Cardinals, nothing official with them yet. The Raiders, nothing official with them yet. So it's some openings out there, and he hasn't been called yet. And I don't know what that means, right? I think if he wasn't with the team, if we were going to move off from him, or any of those things was going to happen, there's no reason for it not to be public that he's interviewing for these jobs. Or Cliff could just be like, no, this is where I want to be. Because one thing about what happened over the weekend, when you think about Miss Jackson, right? When you think about Miss Jackson and I don't even call it cryptic, right? I'm sure she heard the rumors. I'm sure she heard all of the drama over the weekend concerning Cliff. But the whole running back, we loading up JD5 and KK, which is Cliff Kingsbury for 2026. How much credence do we put towards that? Like, how much juice does she actually has? How much does she actually know? How much does Jayden know? I don't know, but I think especially when it comes to Jayden, and Jayden talked about it today about Cliff. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Um, about he feel about Cliff, and one of the things that because he endorsed Cliff, of course, they have a strong relationship. Let me see if I can put this on real quick. Let's put this up. Let me know if y'all can hear or not.
I mean, I love working with Cliff. Me and him have a special relationship. We kind of built that over his past 2 years.
So I love working with Cliff. We have this special relationship that we have built over the last 2 years, right? I think that's kind of generic in the sense, right? I don't think there's anything from those statements, right? It's basic. Oh, my bad. Y'all can't even see it. My bad, y'all. My bad. So like I think that's kind of, basic things, generic things to say. For the end of the year, you don't throw nobody under the bus, right? What's up, Radar? How you feeling? What's up, Mike? So those are basic things. So let's listen to the rest. And can y'all hear? Let me know if y'all can make sure y'all can hear.
I kind of just love working with Cliff. Me and him have a special relationship. We kind of built that over his past 2 years. I kind of just wish I was out there more to play for him.
Now that right there, that right there, everything else was kind of, you would expect for him to say that, right? We have a good relationship. We built a strong a special relationship. I think special is a word that you can dissect if you choose so, right? For him to use, we built a special relationship over these last 2 years. But the statement, I wish I could have done more, right? I wish I could have done more for Cliff. I don't know what that means. What do you think that means?
And, I kind of just wish I was out there more to play for him this past year. So, that's kind of the focus for me in this offseason is just rebuild.
And everything else is basically about him, being there for his teammates and being available next year. So I'm thinking he's going to take that serious. I don't know what that means, if he's going to, try to build up his body a little more or whatever that looks like, right? I'm not a health person in a sense where like that's not my profession. Put on weight, take off weight, whatever the case may be. But he's an agile human being, right? Like you could tell he takes it very serious. But the thing with him and Cliff is that I really believe Jayden wants Cliff back. And for his mom to say that, Mama Five to be like, hey, look, we loading back up for JD5 and KK for year 2026. I think that's an endorsement, and I would be kind of surprised if they do move off from Cliff. I would be surprised if they move off of Cliff. As a matter of fact, it also Cliff's name is not as hot as it was last year. Right. He's still a hot candidate in a sense, but his name is not as hot as it was last year. And you can say that's because of the win-loss record, because it's really not too much about the production, right? Because the production, yes, we were much better last year overall. But what he had to deal with and the numbers that he put up, especially the first half of the season, like the first 6-7 weeks without Terry, without Jayden, just with Mariota and some guys, man, he was putting up numbers. Like, we can't forget that, right? We were top of the league and point score. I think it was like plus 25, right? Even right now we're 7th in rushing. I think 20 something in passing. And that goes to tell you that the pass catchers wasn't there. The rushing is still top 10. Just like I think last year it was 3. It's 7 this year. And most of that is without Jayden. So we can't just say, oh, Jayden running. The running back room, in a sense, it wasn't really healthy either, right? They traded B-Rob. Eckler went down week 1, week 2. C-Rod has been hurt on and off. Bill has been hurt on and off. I think McNichols missed a game, I think. Right, so even within the running back room, it wasn't a whole lot of consistency. Cuddy said tells me he's still lacking talent on offense and thinks he has to do it all. Yeah, man. I don't know. Jade need weapons, bro. He needs weapons. That's why I'm still back and forth with what I want to do with the seventh pick in a sense, right? I know Edge is there. I know, people talk about Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs, uh, one of the wide receivers, Lemon or Tate. It's a lot. I'm about to start diving into them real tough these upcoming weeks to see which way I want to go, man. But I need Jayden to have weapons because remember, all last off season when with Terry, my whole thing was even if you pay him or not, I want a wide receiver in the first round. I didn't care. I want a wide receiver in the first round. If you paid him or not, even if we have Terry, even if we get Ayuk, I still want a wide receiver in the first round. Because one, Terry is coming off a couple injury and a re-aggravated injury, right? He's going into 31, right? You got Ayuk. I think he's coming off of the ACL. I mean, he hasn't played in a year and a half. Not saying there's nothing wrong. Like I'm not too worried. I like the medicine and all this different stuff. Because remember, like I think week 1 or leading up to week 1, he was out there like running around. That's why they thought he could come back, right? They put him on pup for him to come back, and he just never did. But he was out there running around. I think before like they week 1 game, like pregame, how they be out there, he was out there running around. So, and you see what happened with Stephon and a lot of other players that's come back from different injuries. I know his was a little worse, but he's had more time to heal. He's had more time to rehab. If he's doing that, I believe he's doing that, bro. Like as childish as some people may think he is by some of his posts and different stuff that he do, I still think he's out there. I think he's still out there rehabbing and wanting to play this game and still have a love and passion for this game. So you bring him in, but you got him coming off of ACL. I think he's going to be, 26, 27. Familiar with Jayden, but I still would like to have another gunner in there. They see what they're going to do with Trey Burks. You got Luke coming back off of injury. Jalen Lane was banged up a lot this year. He was coming back. Seems like he's going to be promising on special teams as well as Luke. But for me, to be honest, when it comes to special teams, I'd rather have one. If your stock kick return is the wide receiver and your stock punt return is the wide receiver, like one of them got to do both. One of them got to do both, bro. We need to maximize the talent as much as possible. Now, if they make this team as wide receivers, then that's fine. But I can't have a long snapper in multiple positions. Somebody that's just out there just hiking them, just doing one basic thing. The same thing with a punter and a kicker. Them are the only positions where I think a player should be doing one thing. Because they don't run really, right? They don't run, they don't throw, they don't catch, they don't block, they don't tackle, they don't break tackles. They don't do any of that. Special team people, like those, they are one-trick ponies. And I don't want that anywhere else on my roster. I don't want a player that only does one thing. Even if your specialty is something, even like for edge rusher, right? I think Bailey is a Bailey or Bang? I think Bailey, like a lot of people has an issue thinking that he's got short arms. He's not going to be able to run defend and all this blah, blah, blah. But that's not a one trick. Specialists, they're not one because they can still, they are specialists in rushing the passer, but they can tackle, they can run, they can play special teams, they can do multiple things. Special teams got a kicker, punter, and the long snapper. They can't do they do one thing. So I can't have a wide receiver room with two guys that's only there because of special teams. They got to pick one. Unless they're going to be contributing to the wide receiver room. And contributing not so much that they have to get targets and different things like that, but they have to be ready. They have to be solid depth pieces. They have to be solid depth pieces. I can't have people on this team anymore that can't play in the NFL. And I know injuries. I know. But, bro, look how often we had practice squad players playing meaningful snaps this year. Guys that's coming off of the street playing meaningful snaps this year. Smokey says, Mama 5 ain't letting Cliff leave. Dogs, I don't know, Deuce. It sounded like there was some finale. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm going back and forth. The whole, like, I wish I could have done more. Like, that's what's throwing me off. I wish I could have done more. It's throwing me off. But he might could just be talking about all the heat that he's getting and all the criticism that Cliff is getting, which is not warranted to him. Right? I think we should build the defense through the draft and get younger. But offense, all right, let's come back to that. Jayden Mama said, Cliff, we running it back. Yes, she did. In terms of rushing yards per game, 2024, we were 4th. 2025, 4th. Rushing yards per attempt, 2024, 6th. 2025, 5th. Rushing attempts per game, 2024, 3rd. 2025, 9th. Rushing percentage, 2024, 7th. 2025, 4th. We're not running the ball. We are running the ball. Like, the issue with Cliff with running the ball, it really stems from 2 games in the red zone at the goal line. Yes, there are times, right? Like, there are times where, like, drives, you'll see Cliff, like, why you didn't run there? Like, run the ball, right? Where the play doesn't even work. Like, the play doesn't make sense. It's like you're playing right into the defensive. You're playing right into the defensive pocket. Yes. There are those games. He's not perfect at running, right? But no OC is. And the whole under center thing, like, you can just imagine that all they really worked on from last year was to be in the pistol or the gun. You build off of that. That ultimately, as the season went on, he started being under the center more. But if, just like he said, because Josh and Mariota, he talks to his quarterbacks, what are you more comfortable with? Like, a lot of us is blaming Cliff for not being under center, but what if that's what Jayden is most comfortable with? Being in the gunner with pistol. What if that's the case? A lot of times we always say, well, the coach needs to play to the player's strength. But now all of a sudden, if it's not working how we fans say it should work, now let's play against the player's strength. It's not his team. He's not the coach. Can't have it both ways, bro. You can't have it both ways. Hey, Darryl. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for joining the Riddle community, man. Thank you so much. I had a little thing I usually do. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see. I don't really have no beats on this one. They got the rock and roll jump. Darryl, thank you, Darryl. Thank you, dog. I gotta figure out what to do when I get these super chats, man. I don't know if you like rock, but I'm gonna like rock today. Cause my man Daryl joined the Riddle community. We are growing. We're about 8 strong. Right? It's not about how many people you have. It's about how much fight the people that you do have is giving you. I think I destroyed that quote. I know I destroyed that quote. Let me see. It's not about the size of the dog. It's about, what is it? It's not about the size of the dog, but it's about the fight in the dog or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, we low in numbers, but we mighty. How about that? Appreciate you, Don, for joining, man. Appreciate you for joining, man. Carter and FYI, YouTube had changed these settings to where it's going by your @ now. So I'm trying to relearn, because a lot of y'all your @ is not the same as your regular name, and a lot of y'all names is different from on X. So I'm just gonna start using the @ but if you had a different name prior to that, just let me know so I can know who it is. He says free agency. Oh, is the press conference started yet? Let me see.
Relationships you built throughout the year, it's tough.
I don't know if, let me see if y'all can hear this. What are my notifications? I don't think it started yet. But we locking in. Yeah, man, it is, right? Like, is he going to be cheap with that extra $1-2 million? Is he going to go out and get the best players? Is he going to continue to do these one? Because I think there are a few players in free agency that we can sign that you don't have to do these 1-year deals for. So it's definitely going to tell us a lot about him moving forward. Don't want one guy to be a punt returner, kick returner, and a contributor on offense. Yeah, man. You saying you don't want that? Like, that's what I want. Like, like you got to do both, and you got to do both and find some type of role. I don't want nobody just say, like, we got 3 players that do that: the kicker, the punter, and the long snapper. They sit back in the back of the bench the whole game and just hike it and practice kicking into nets. We don't need players like that. No. I'm saying, like, he could be wide receiver 5. I'm not saying that like you shrink the wide receiver room. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't need wide receiver 4 and 5 getting spats on his roster where all they really do is one catches punts and one catches kickoffs. Yeah, Bane. Yep. Oh, that's CeeLo. I didn't know that. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's CeeLo. Yeah. That's crazy. Right. Devin Hester, Brian Mitchell, bro. Like, they were weapons. They were weapons on offense. Devin Hester even switched sides. Y'all remember that? He was a cornerback at first. We running the back, ladies and gentlemen. We running this back. The issue is situational biases and personal bias and quarter B runs. Somebody think I'm Rio. This is not Rio, man. I know we both dark skin, but this ain't Rio. This is Deuce. But I appreciate you for typing in for sure. And everyone that's there, don't forget to subscribe, man. Appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, Logan. This is not Rio, but happy New Year to you, and continue to hang out with us. Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Let me see. It's not that quantity, the dogs. It's about the quality of the dogs. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, Miss Sherry, I know who this is. Hey, Miss Sherry, thank you. Appreciate you, Miss Sherry, for joining, supporting. Even if y'all don't want to look at film and tape and all that stuff, man, you get percentages off of free merch and just to being a supporter, man. We absolutely appreciate you. We appreciate you, Miss Sherry. I don't know if you like rock and roll, Miss Sherry, but I like a little rock and roll. And we rocking and rolling in the year 2026. We're not losers anymore. We do not have a below 500 record. Matter of fact, we don't have an above 500 record. We are 0-0. Oh, does that change? I don't think that changes yet. I don't think that changes till after the year. So maybe we are still. What's our record? 4-5, 5-12, whatever it is. Right, that's what I'm saying, man. He called her Jersey. Oh man, it's the original people on here, but without X. Different, yeah, I guess. I know most of them though. Like you'll still say South. I found out who T was in a weird way. He says it's a disaster. It's supposed to be at 5:00, Steve-O. That's what they said. I don't know. Let me see. Is it up yet on X? I don't see any notifications yet. There it goes. It's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight and the dog. It's not about the amount of people in the community, but it's about the fight of the people in the community. There it is. That works. Why y'all telling me that all late? Y'all probably had to Google it. AP on color people time. But yeah, man. So like I don't know. I wanted to go back up here for where they talk about hold on, let me see. Where is it? Was it Cuddy? Let me see. Oh, here you go. I think we should build a defense through the draft. So we got 6 picks, right? We have 6 picks for this upcoming draft. We have 2 top 100. We have a first and we have a third. A lot is going to tell us about how we're going to approach the draft following free agency. This is why, like, I mean, if you mockers, I guess, you're mockers for a reason. You love doing mocks. And it's kind of funny how every mock you do is different. Right? Like, if you do a mock, it should just be your mock. Right? Like, we got the 7th pick, you know that. So why you got to do multiple mocks a day? If this is what you want, right? But for me, I do maybe 3 mock drafts. I do one for the mock draft charity competition that we have every year. And I do one for the Commanders draft show that we do. And I do the one right week before the draft. Because everything changes. Everything changes, right? Big boards change. Things happen, right? Some players look like just blow the combine out. All of a sudden they rise up boards. You have people that flunk the combine and they plummet, right? So all that stuff changes. You got people that don't participate at the combine, but they participate at their pro day. So all that stuff changes, man. So I just don't spend a whole lot of time doing mock drafts, but each his own, man. Like whatever helps you cope with this losing season. Shout out to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. So it just depends, man. Building through the defense, like, what does this mean though? Like when we say I want to build through the defense, I think for me, um, I think for me, building through the defense is basically just drafting the edge or Caleb Downs at 7. I think that's just what that is. I don't think I don't think it's anything more than that. Right? Unless you telling me you want to go edge safety edge, and you want to just, and then I think what we got, what, the fifth round? I think we got 2 5s and a 6, or 2 5s and a 7, or 2 6s and a 7, something like that. I gotta look at it. All you mockers out there, what we got? Right? So it really depends. I don't really see anybody I'm interested in at edge in free agency. But I do see a ton of running backs. Well, I ain't gonna say ton, but I see a few running backs. This is why it'll be interesting to me if they decide to let me see. No, they ain't gone live yet. If they go running back in the first round, if they go Jeremiah Love at 7, I'll be super excited. I mean, I'll be excited. It'll be cool, but I'll be surprised for sure. Oh yeah, there you go. I live for the people, bro. I got that saved on my phone. I think I'm gonna learn that, bro. I live for the people because I die for the people. No, it ain't. No, let me see. I live for the people. No, I live for the people because I love the people. I love the people. I got that saying on my phone. I like that joint. Yeah, I'm gonna learn that. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Hold up. There you go. The people. The people. I live for the people. Live for the people because I love the people. More liberation. You can't wear a revolution. Hey, see, we might got to use that as the opener for all ones, bro. We might got to use that for the opening, man. Yeah, man, it's a midlife crisis for sure, no doubt. They said 5:30. Sheesh, I thought they said 5 o'clock. That's what the one dude who think he media, I guess he said the media reports or something. And some people said Ben Stanek said 5. I thought it was 5. Free agency should be positions for like safety, wide receiver 2 and 3, etc. Draft your premium positions. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. I don't think running back is a premium position. Wide receiver is a premium position. Edge, corner. It also depends what you want to do with your defense and your middle linebacker. Well, we got 2 picks, so you want the first to go to the first and the third to go to. I wouldn't be mad, bro. Like for real, I think we might go. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I think we might go edge twice in the draft. The wide receiver from the Colts. Yeah, man, he's gonna garner a lot though. A lot of people gonna want him.
All right, good to see you guys.
Let me know if y'all can hear. Can y'all hear this? Can y'all hear him?
All right, now what? And for AP and I, we would say, man, it's just the beginning. We got a lot of work to do, and I know you'll ask, what changes are being made, and
Can y'all hear?
we're not able to go there yet. Everything needs to be and is being thoroughly examined and discussed, and really our work is answering the question, what went wrong and what we need to do to fix it. And, make sure we never, go through this again in a season like this. And so that's our sole focus and what's kind of going to be driving us, in the weeks ahead. So I just wanted to kick in back in gear with you and hit a few things and then we'll get the whole thing rocking.
Yeah, just to echo what DQ said, I mean, this season was a disappointment in a lot of ways and certainly didn't meet our standards. And, we're going to do everything we can to not let that happen again. And that starts today with this offseason. So ready to attack it and ready to move forward. And whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and hit us with some questions.
John Kind, ESPN. For Dan, you don't know about the changes, but when would you like to get those finalized? And what goes when you're going about assessing coaches, coordinators? How do you go about assessing them to get to whatever decision you want?
Yeah, for sure. It's a hard season like this. Hard decisions are made, but you want to go through everything from evaluation, the communication, the performances, and so we begin that as coaches and scouts. We get together. We talk a lot about the players. We had the exit interviews today, John. So Adam and I also visited with a lot of players, and that's part of how we're gathering all of our information. So all of these processes are really important, and we just want to make sure like we're doing everything we can, to make sure we're hitting all the marks to get it right.
And Adam, for you, since we haven't talked to you in a little while,
Is this better, Ms. Janet? Can you hear a little better?
How the season played out with Terry, the injuries, the early struggles, and all that. How would you assess how that situation was handled, and how can you apply whatever you learned to future situations?
Yeah, certainly. I think both us and Terry would agree that we would like to get that done a little bit faster. It didn't happen that way. Certainly, there's reasons for that, but ultimately, you'd like to get those things done before we did.
So basically, he's saying him and Terry, like both of them wanted to get that deal done a little earlier,
But I thought he did a really good job at the
but they
end of the year.
didn't.
I was really pleased with where he's at.
You're really
And
pleased with
really
where
high
he's
level
at.
right now and going into next year. So really pleased with the end result of the contract. Obviously, you'd like to get it done earlier, and I think that's a good lesson too. Just engaging in those things a little bit earlier, and hopefully you get to the to the end before we did on this one, and certainly we'll do that moving forward.
Nikki Jabal with The Athletic. This is for both of you. Just looking back over this past season, how would you assess the work that Cliff did with the offense?
Yeah, we're going through all the coaches, Cliff, offensively, defensively, on the teams wide. So that's really what we're digging into, Nikki, to find what's best, how do we do it, where do we find spaces to improve, and for Cliff, for Joe, for Larry, for all of us, like that's our main focus.
Why are you mentioning Joe?
Never in this space again. That's what we want to dig in hard on.
And if there's, again, for both of you, if there's one thing that you could go back and redo,
But we not getting nothing out of this
2020 in
thing, bro.
hindsight. But injuries aside, is there one thing that you wish you had done differently or anything like that?
Yeah, there's probably a million things, when you think about it, when you don't have a good season. So it's hard to nail it down to one. I would say looking back, the things that I'm not pleased with is our turnover margin and to not create enough takeaways, not doing a good enough job with the ball. Those are the things that come to mind first. We want to play bold, we want to play aggressive, but that part, you have to more emphasis, more things in for it. That would be one that comes to mind first. The one thing, there's too many to list. There's like paper cuts. So like, I don't know how the saying goes, like death by a million paper cuts. There's, like when you're in this space, you're constantly evaluating and okay, where do we go? And even yesterday, like I had said, I hope we find some of these winning time moments before the off season. And so yesterday being behind in the fourth quarter, getting a touchdown, getting a stop, getting another touchdown, defensive stop. That's what I was looking for. And so to see some of that apply.
No, you're not gonna do that to us, bro. No. That does not work.
It has to be addressed and worked on. So I was pleased to see that. No matter who is in.
No.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of what he said. I think
No, don't echo that.
taking care of the ball, doing a better job tackling, but the fundamentals of the game and our play style, I think, slipped a little bit. But those are things that we really need to hit on hard, from the very beginning and make sure that we're upholding that standard week in and week out.
David Aldridge with The Athletic. Adam, what do you think needs to be fixed on this roster?
Fixed. I think the health played a big part. Certainly, it wasn't even close to the only part, but I think starting with a healthy team and really staying healthy is a big deal. Um, but I know there's, I think I feel really good at some spots, but there's certainly a few spots where we can improve and get young, really,
Uh-oh.
exciting, explosive talent. And that's
Uh-oh.
right now we're working on the draft and got a set of draft meetings coming up next week, which I'm really, really excited about. Got the scouts all showing us the reports and identifying some guys. We have a high pick, which is something that
I need to go back a
really
little bit.
fast, exciting, explosive talent, and that's what we're doing right now. We're working on the draft and got a set of draft meetings coming up next week, which I'm really, really
He said we need to get
excited
younger at some spots.
about.
Okay. I like to hear that.
Identifying some guys. We have a high pick, which is something that you don't really want if it's your own pick, but we're going to take advantage of that and try to find a young, explosive playmaker, wherever that may be.
But specifically on the defense.
Young and explosive
What are you
playmaker.
going to be looking at in attacking?
I think there's a lot of spots I think where we can look at. I think certainly another pass rusher would be something we definitely.
Uh-oh. Pass rusher.
Whether that's the draft or free agency, I think we have a lot of good options in both of those areas.
Liam Griffin with the Washington Times. For both of you, I know you're not ready to address potential coaching or personnel changes, but when you're looking at adding coaches or adding coordinators to the staff, what kind of traits are you looking to prioritize in that process?
When you're putting a staff together, like prior to coming here, Liam, you wanted to, one, it's the talent of the coach, but also the fit. And it's not a hell of a lot different than, like from Adam's side and a player to adding it to the group. We first talk about commanders, and it's really no different on that side. It's the fit, it's the talent. What do they bring that's unique? And that's a great question, man. But to communicate, collaborate, has unique skill set to teach. I think that's the number one top of the pile when you're teaching. Part of this is why you need to know this specific skill. This is for the game, for the coaches that make it come to life. I think that's what you see when the players can perform at their best. So those are a few of the things.
And for Adam, you guys were the oldest team in the league by a snap weight basis this year, and you're coming into a season with kind of limited draft capital. So how do you go about, returning the 30 pending free agents and getting younger while trying to maintain a sense of continuity?
Yeah, I think that's something that's been talked about a lot, and I think fairly in a lot of aspects. But I think you're always trying to get younger and faster, and I think that'll be a big emphasis for us this offseason.
I hear the speed coming around the corner.
Young and fast has always been an emphasis. I don't know about all that, but we'll go with it.
Have had a lot of 1 and 2 year deals in free agency, specifically your first couple of years here. Do you anticipate getting more aggressive with you guys having a lot of cap space this offseason? And then how do you balance that as a GM of picking your spots to go with smaller with deals or maybe taking some bigger swings at free agency?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the opportunity and the specific players. Like I think with certain players when we got here, we did a little longer term deal, three-year deals. That we haven't done much more than that except for extending our own guys. But I think a lot of it depends on the player, the opportunity, and just how they fit. There's a lot of risk, I think, in free agency if you don't have a ton of familiarity with that. And in the past, places I've been, the biggest mistakes we made were investing a lot in a lot of years into a player you don't really know. So I think there's
short-term deals incoming.
Mistakes. So we'll look at everything individually, but I don't think any of us have any aversion for doing the long-term deals. It just depends on the player and the situation.
With Washington Post, Adam, is there a way to come up with kind of a long-term plan to keep Jayden upright and make sure he plays 15 or 17 games rather than 7?
Is there a way? I think really, and this might be a better question for DQ, but from me, I think it's just continuing to from my from a personnel or GM perspective is continuing to put good players around.
There it is.
At the O line, it's running backs to
That's
control
right.
the ball and control the clock, and not put it all on his shoulders and get in second and third and manageables. It's receivers that he can trust and throw to, so that he's not holding on to the ball longer. And so from my perspective, it's just getting good players around him, getting a good defense.
I love
outside,
that.
So he's not
Capitalize on it.
all on his shoulders to win the game. So DQ could probably talk more schematically, but in terms of from me, I think those are the things.
Ain't got nothing to do with scheme. I don't want to hear it, Dan. I don't want to hear it.
Often those discussions of like, hey,
Good.
this is how we want you to play. This is who we're surrounding you with. How much of a part of it?
Yeah, very much so, that part. And even after, his injury, we, specifically, this is the area, this is what we're going to work on. As opposed to waiting till the off season, we decided, let's get a jump start on that. So very much so, will he be a part of it? But I would say not only will he, like we already are going there. And so it's really important. We know what he brings to us, what it means to us. And, I think it's all encompassing, and how we go play the game. So, we're like fully committed to, finding ways to continue to do that.
Tom Shad with the Washington Post. Adam, I had a couple questions about Laramie Tunsil, obviously one of the big offseason additions. How would you evaluate kind of the impact that he had on the team? Have you had any talks with him, early talks about a contract extension? And did the situation with Terry kind of inform how you'll go about those potential talks?
In terms of the evaluation, I think in his impact on our team, I thought it was really outstanding, both on the field
Okay.
and in the locker room.
Okay.
He's a great leader. I don't think, and he's not really upfront about it, but he's an outstanding leader. He's an outstanding mentor to the other linemen. He's a really good teammate, and in a lot of ways that you don't really see, because he's not looking for attention. But
Okay.
really, it's been really, really awesome to get to know him, to see how he goes about his business. Incredibly hard worker. And then on the field, I thought, he was one of the better left tackles, if not the best in the league. He didn't get recognition for the Pro Bowl.
That dude getting 30 plus, bro.
But look at the metrics. He did a great job. So
He's getting 30
that's
something.
all to
He's
say
getting
that,
30, bro.
We've had, constant communication. He's self-represented, but he has a team around him that we have constant communication with and throughout the year. So I think what I can say is we definitely want to get something done with him, and sooner rather than later.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. I like it. I like it.
For both of you. I think the big question fans want to know here is, how do you go from a team that was one win away from going to the Super Bowl, and injuries aside, because every team
I don't know if I like this
goes
question.
through injuries. So how do you go from a team that was one win away from going to the Super Bowl to 5 wins? Like, what happened? Like, how can you?
Bro, they already. This is what I don't like about. Like, they already answered that question, bro.
We'll never be in this situation or have a season like this again. Factors to say, how do we play it better? How do we coach it better?
He said we'll never be in this situation again.
One of the reasons.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So much insight for why we're going to play excellent football is the locker room. And when you go through,
they're gonna culture.
A terrible season.
They're gonna culture again. Here come culture again.
Season, I know that part is right. And
Brotherhood.
I'm certain, with the changes, with the things that we need to do moving forward, we're not just trying to be good for 1 year. We're trying to do it as good as we can.
I got the volume all the way up.
From this season that we're going to apply in 26, 27, 28, and beyond. And that's why I want you and our fan base to know that, man, it was hard.
Let me try to lift my
Hard decisions have to be
surface
made,
up.
but,
Because I'm not trying to share it in my stream because I don't want them to get me. I don't know if they're going to knock me out.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo a lot of what DQ said, but
Let's see if I can
obviously it's not just one thing. It's not just the injuries. It's not just this. It's
lift
not
it
just
up.
that. But going through a season like this, which is terrible and certainly not even close to our standard, like you said, that there's a lot of lessons that we learned and a lot of lessons we'll apply moving forward in terms of myself, just the decisions that I make on a daily basis, the decisions that we make in terms of our roster construction and all those different things. But we look at everything, and it's a good time to reflect, and we'll have a lot of time this offseason to really dig into all of that. We've looked at a lot throughout the season, but really can get together and say, what can we do better? And that's looking at everything, every single thing.
And Adam, I want to quickly ask you about the tight end position. Obviously, Zach's future is kind of uncertain right now. You're looking at the tight ends on the roster. How do you evaluate that and maybe add another piece in terms of a tight end free agency draft?
Yeah, so we have, I believe, 3 coming back under contract, which is it's Bates, Ben, and Yankoff. Kazier's on the practice squad, and obviously we lost Zach, which was a big loss. Zach's a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Hold up,
really
Yankoff under contract.
So I think just depending on how Zach comes along and coming back, I don't anticipate him being ready at the beginning of the season. But so you look and to develop and really utilize those 3 guys' skill set, and I think they're all really good players in their own right. Ben's developing a lot. He's gotten a lot better this year, and I think he's got another level to go to. John's one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, and Colson's kind of a jack of all trades, but an excellent special teams player for a tight end. So as you're looking at it right there, where can you find someone who's really, really good on third down? Could it be one of those guys? Somebody can always get open to the quarterback. Can always rely on. Can it be one of those guys? Or
he is on a contract until next year.
Free agency and get that.
I didn't realize that.
Think of a Zach Ertz
Yankoff
skill set where Jayden knows where he's going to be, when he's going to be, and trusts that he's going to catch the ball and make the play, which he did really.
Colson
incredibly
Yankoff
for the last 2 years, and that's sorely missed for sure.
Hey guys, JP Finley, NBC4 1067. Adam, for you, going into this draft with just 2 picks Thursday, Friday night, how does that impact how you approach free agency, whether it's more aggressive or a different approach than perhaps these last few seasons?
I think you always want to look at the overall landscape with the draft and free agency and understand where the strengths and the weaknesses are, and use those to your advantage in terms of where you're going to really invest in one or the other. Obviously, free agency comes first, and then I wish it was the other way around where you draft first and he said,
where's Dan hat at? He need a hat,
the way
man.
it works. So, but with only having 1 pick, like you said, or two, sorry, we don't have a second or a fourth, which actually very happy that turned out that way with Laramie. I think I would do that one.
Oh, did you just have a Ron moment?
Obviously we have
draft picks we got.
You could look to move and get more picks if the opportunity.
Somebody gonna use that watch. You don't even know what picks we got.
Every offseason, no matter what your picks are, what you have, you're always trying to maximize both the draft and free agency, getting guys that you might not be able to get in the other one.
Facts. It does sound like a pass
free
rush.
agency, it's super heavy at one position. Maybe you go there, and then the draft, you go elsewhere to fill those needs.
Sorry, DQ, that all the questions are for Adam, but we get to talk to you all.
No worries, man.
You guys talk about your comprehensive approach a lot. Adam, I'm curious, what's your role in the coaching staff decisions?
I'm really just here to support DQ. The coaching staff is DQ's, and I'm always here to help, like during the season and off season, however I can, to help support him and help him make the decisions that he needs to make, and certainly wherever he needs. So it's not, I'm not involved in whatever decision it is. It's always DQ's call, and I have his back on whatever he wants to do.
There's not silos here, JP. Coaching and scouts, we connect, we talk a lot, we visit a lot, and so it's one of the things I enjoy most is those conversations. It's different.
That's interesting.
Points of view. So,
that's interesting.
It's as collaborative as I've been a part of.
Good evening, gentlemen. David Harrison, WSA 9. Coach, unfortunately, I do have a question for you. Yesterday, Von Miller talked to us about, or said a familiar phrase that you say a lot is forget next time, get him this time. And when he mentioned that, he said that the reason he has that saying is because it comes from not playing for yourself. When you play for yourself, you can get that sack the next play, or you can get that tackle the next time. But when you're playing for each other, you want to get it this time. There is no next time. I mean, how much does that resonate? I know you have said that phrase. How much does that resonate with the spirit of why you say that?
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me that I heard him say that. He has been a remarkable teammate. Adam was talking about Laramie and kind of the impact that he's made, and both of them are quiet, so confident in their how they play and their style, it's almost like they can speak softly, but you're leaning in. People want to gain the knowledge and the wisdom that they have, and I'm super grateful for both of them because they're wanting to share that knowledge and that wisdom. And as a veteran player, you can imagine the impact that it has on the younger ones. And even one, when I'm calling younger, I'm saying been in the league a shorter amount of time. It's very cool to go through. This is going to happen. You can hear them on the sideline talking. Next one, we're going to do this. This play is going to happen. And so those are things that come up that you can't really coach. It comes with the experience. And there's advantages with having people like that on the roster that have wisdom and impact, and if they're willing to share it, that's a big deal. And neither Laramie or Vaughn or Wags or
I
Zach,
appreciate all y'all for
they're
tapping in
having
too, man.
conversations where you
Those
take
of you
this
that's
from them,
listening
you
on
can do that,
X,
'cause that's not
if you're not subscribed, please do the Red Zone in the Lab. If you go to the chat, well, if you're in
it's really cool. I've
YouTube,
had
you can
in a really tough season, I've really
subscribe to the
enjoyed coaching.
podcast. For those of you that are
And
interested
AP, as you get
in
closer to
supporting in
draft
any
weekend,
way, you can join the
is
Riddle
there a point in
community.
your process where, as you guys are building like your top 100 list or however you design your board, that you get the coaches involved and kind of say like, hey, we really like this player because of these traits. How do you think he would fit into what you're trying to do as a coordinator?
Yeah, actually, it kind of plays off what DQ just said. I mean, we collaborate on everything. So the coaches are involved with everything we do in the off season, very involved. And like we go through, say, a free agency meeting a few weeks ago. Well, we kind of break it down and give our list to the coaches. The coaches watch the players that we've identified, so they don't have to watch everybody because they don't have the time to watch everybody. And then we all meet together and we make those decisions collaboratively. So that's the same with the draft. So we're not going to draft players that the coaches don't like, that don't fit their scheme, and we'll really heavily lean to that. And if we don't understand it, then we'll sit down together and watch film, and they'll explain why this player fits us. And it really is a great learning lesson for both of us. And when we do that, when we get players that the scouts like and the coaches like and the analytics like, those are our biggest hit rates. So I don't really know any other way to do it, and I don't think there's a better way to do it than to collaborate and make sure that we're all on the same page and all bought in.
Just recently, the scouts were here on some meetings, and just have a team meeting, and you see all of them in the back. It kind of speaks to everybody doing it together. Everybody's tight in the room, and so having the scouts here with the coaches, with the team, I think that's a perfect example.
Man, they had all the scouts there last week.
Mesh everybody together.
Sheesh.
Looking out at players and coaches and scouts, and, in the team meeting Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, as they were, took a break from their meeting to come into the team meeting. This is how we're going to go win. This is how we're going to attack it. So I liked them being all in our meetings the week they were here.
Mitch Tischler, Monumental Sports. Dan, for you, in your head coaching career, you've kind of done it both ways, where you've been both head coach and DC, or had somebody that you can delegate to. Is it on the table that next year you would stay in the same role that you kind of finish this season, or you think it's better as a head coach to be able to delegate and kind of be big picture?
Yeah, it's a good question, Mitch. I think what I've learned is make the best decision for what the team needs. And so as we're going through this, man, a lot to gain through these exit interviews, where we're at, and but that's really where I'm at. I'm not into that space yet. I'm definitely doing this. I'm definitely not. What I do know, that I'll be heavily involved, one way or another, and that's part.
He said he thinks that the scouts are dogs.
I'll keep an open mind, as I'm going through the next, parts of the process.
And you've hired a couple different staffs throughout your career.
Man, you ain't even asking a question.
Going after coaches and personnel folks that versus guys who might be able to bring in kind of new ideas, different ideas to a team as a whole. How do you balance kind of?
Yeah, I think you want to always have like a contingency planning system ahead for when, changes are made. And so you want to think about those people who are fresh, who's, on ideas, who's within your own, building that knows statuses to go. And so you keep that in mind. But you're always just kind of, watching and learning and growing, and you have to adapt. And some of the things that were effective, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, evolve and change. And it's kind of one of the fun parts of coaching. And through the years, I've met some fantastic coaches that I didn't know before. And, one that left this year was Tavita. And so when I got here, he was somebody that I wanted to hire and to be here. And so, man, I'm super grateful. I learned a lot from Tavita, and that's just like one small example amongst others, a Bobby Ingram or others that, I may not have known or known of them. And then to actually, go shoulder to shoulder in a couple of years, then you find out a lot.
Ben Standig with the Team 980 and the Last Man Standing. Adam, for you, with regards to the wide receiver room, going back to the spring and the summer, obviously in an ideal world, you have Terry, you have Debo, and you have Noah Brown, but you have Terry holding out early on. Noah gets hurt in minicamp, misses all of training camp, and both those guys were out. At what point did you just look at that and think we still have enough depth? Because from the outside was seemed to be a wonder as to what would happen, and obviously those guys were out a lot of the year.
Yeah, I think anytime you get your top two starting guys, it hurts your depth regardless of how much depth you have. Certainly, we're always looking for help. We're always looking to get every room better. We explored a lot of different ways to get better. We ended up getting Trey Burks, who ended up being a really good player for us down the stretch. But yeah, a lot of it has to do with opportunity and then what the cost is in order to do that. And did not, I think both Noah's and Terry's injuries probably were a little bit longer than we thought they were going to be. And so all that played into it, but certainly, it made it hard for Jayden, with not having the full complement of receivers. And
so he agrees with Cliff.
So I think that's a good lesson for sure. But I think, we did explore a lot of different things. We just didn't always pull the trigger, just depending on what that cost or what, whether it's draft capital, whether it's contract, whatever it is, and, I think it's certainly something we'll have to look at down the road.
And obviously the front office is about looking ahead. The coach is about looking in the moment. When you guys are in the position where you're eliminated from the playoffs or the season's going a certain way, do you weigh in and say, hey, maybe we need to get some younger guys in to see what we have next year, or even have a discussion about, hey, if we win a game in the last week, it could affect draft status and the importance perhaps of that, even if you say we're not going to worry about that? Do you weigh in on those matters?
I told him the tank, and he just said no. No.
Whoa!
It's important for us to win. So
hold up.
For a lot of different reasons.
You lie.
In terms of just weighing in on personnel things, I think it goes back to what Q was saying. We talk all the time. We talk every single day, all day about how can we do better. And I'll make suggestions.
Oh no,
that's a good idea, or no, this is why we won't do that. But I think that's a constant dialogue between us, and there's no, it's we have a great respect for each other. So if I ask a question, he knows where it's coming from, and it's not coming from a bad place. It's either coming from trying to get information or just understanding. So, but yeah, we're always talking about that, every single week, regardless of our record, always trying to, sometimes I have ideas that I think are good and they're not. And he'll tell me why. And then sometimes they are good. So I think that's a healthy relationship that we'll always have. And I hope that, we'll continue to have.
Three more.
I'm messing with you. Good evening, Candy Waller, Bowie TV.
Hey, Candy.
And this is for both of you all. When you take a look at your draft classes, so last year and this year, how well do you think they're doing? Are they right where you think they would be right now, or have they exceeded expectations, or not so much?
Start Candy on that. Adam and I visited with a lot of them over the last 2 weeks or so, and I love some of the trajectory that some of them are on. The belief that we have in them is so strong, and so that's kind of what your first and second year is. It kind of goes up and it goes down. I wish the development was just like going straight up. That would be awesome. But what I can say is, like, we've got some really, really good, strong foundation pieces of what we're building that are commanders that play it the right way. And like, to see them develop and grow, like, that's one of the things I love the most about our team and where they're headed.
Yeah, I would echo that and just say, there's a lot of really young players that still have a great future ahead of them. So there's guys that haven't had as many opportunities as others for whatever reason, and a lot of times it's because there's good players in front of them. But we still have a ton of belief in all of them, and they all have another another level they can go to, every single one of them, and they're all willing to do that. So very happy with the young men. And like you said, some have developed faster, some have had their ups and downs, and that's okay. We all do, especially when we're first starting something. But in terms of all that, I have a ton of belief in all those guys.
Donna Hopkins, Pro Football Plus. This is for both of you all. When you look at depth across the team this year, do you feel like in each area you had it? And if not, what do you think you needed most in preparing for 2026?
Yeah, Don, it's a good question. It's something that you're thinking about constantly. And even as that shifts, like offensive line, we really had our most depth. And even that was challenged here at the end of the season with some different roster change-ups. So with the addition of the practice squad and allowing that to be that is a bigger piece than it's ever been, and some veteran, some not, but developing within is a really big piece. We'll continue to dig in hard on that as developmental coaches. That's our job, to take them to the next spot, take them to the next level. And
my follow-up question would be,
so much
which players do you
in,
think you
it is
haven't taken
helping
to the
them
next
get to that
spot?
next spot. And so as depth goes, you got to dig in, you got to find where you're vulnerable.
That would be my
you gotta
next
keep
question.
Developing people, what would be the contingency plan if this happened this week? So that's really where like the start of the week goes with Adam and I on Monday after we get done through the injury report. What would change? What would be the same? And this year we had far too many of those conversations about this is how we're going to go and this is how we'll play it. But it also came from that. Some guys
If it's true how these guys work closely together more than I've ever known from any head coach and GM, it seems like, I know I'm not privy to all the NFL teams, but it just seems like
taking people to the
every
next
decision that's made, they're talking to each other before
Yeah,
it's
it
made.
was certainly challenged our depth this whole year, and really,
So
first I would say
the
just
breakup,
great job by our
which I
personnel
hope
staff,
doesn't come, because if it does
Monday
come,
was-
that means
was,
we're not good.
a
But
challenge and
if
getting
it
the guys
does
that we could
come,
just to play.
I
And
wonder
certainly you got to think about where do you have depth
if Adam
for guys that are ready to play and
would
contribute.
hesitate
where you're using
on
that depth for guys on the practice
pulling
squad
the
that you want to
plug.
develop and continue to. They may not be quite ready to play yet.
Like, will he
And
give
so,
him another year? Like, if we're,
learning to find that balance
we
and-
below
and
or right
every
at
position
500
is
next
something
year,
we're-
would he
we're
give
always
him another
constantly trying to
year?
get better at. But yeah, we were certainly challenged
Because
this
of
year,
how
and
close
in the
they
end,
are?
I think, finding the balance of getting enough
Yeah,
players.
I get it. I get
that
it, Kevin.
when
I
you're
know
really
they're not going
decimated
to. I
at
know
a
that for
position
sure.
to get
I'm
out
just,
and
I'm just
get you
saying.
out of a game till those
Because
guys come
sometimes
back.
they do, kid.
Certainly
Like, you heard some. I mean, when it's praises.
Hey guys.
I mean, Quan
Hey
called
guys,
out
Zach
Martin
here with
last week
Sports.
before last.
This is for Adam. This is going back a couple years for you, but you were with the 49ers in kind of an eerily similar spot where you had a breakthrough year. Then next year there were some injuries kind of across the board, kind of fell back, and then you guys got right back to it. Does this situation remind you at all of that one? And what lessons did you learn of being able to build and have that roster
That's a
right
good
back
question,
after
whoever
kind of
this
that
is.
one down year following the breakthrough?
That's a great question.
Yeah, first of all, I hope so. Hope that happens. And those things. I mean, that I remember that year vividly, and it's a nightmare. When you have these certain games like we had in Green Bay, or we had that in that year in New York, where
That's
it
a
was
great question,
it was like
whoever that
carnage,
was. I didn't catch it
and
because I was
it's
talking.
really hard to bounce back. But I think the lessons are. You look into everything. You look into, why the guys got hurt. Sometimes they got hurt because it's just a freak injury. Sometimes they got hurt because we didn't do a good enough job load managing or getting them warmed up or whatever it is. So you can look into all that. I have great belief in our health and performance team. They do a really good job. They have a ton of care for our players and really appreciate that. But you look into that. You look into, the type of players you bring in, their injury histories moving forward. You really dig into that. A lot of the times, the past injury history dictates kind of their future injury history. So that's a big piece of it. But really, what I'm proud of this year, and I think that year as well, that was a little more challenging because it was a COVID year, and we ended up having to move to Arizona for a month. But it really tests your resolve, and it tests your what we call brotherhood. And what was cool to see today. We met with a lot of players today on the checkout process, and really tip my cap to DQ here, because a lot of them, despite the poor results, everybody really still believed in us and this team and what we're doing and the direction we're going. So I think that's something that you can really lean on and say, okay, we can dig into this more and bank on that we're going to have a little bit better luck with that next year, and continue to add healthy pieces and get those guys that we lost back, which is a big deal too. We get a lot of those guys back, which will really make us look a lot different.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
There you go. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap, man. What y'all thinking? I saw a lot of stuff in here. I wrote down. Let me see what y'all talking about in the comment. He loves that culture. Pass rusher, they telling lies. See, Von Miller. A lot of people turning on AP. They're going to spend that. Yeah, they're going to spend these answers, bro, every single time. Quan Martin, they're not. Yeah, we talked about that, but like that's like what I was saying. What I was saying, Kevin, was he's done that before, right? Like he has Quan Martin a couple weeks ago, right? He called him out. He benched him, called him out. So sometimes you could possibly sneak in one of those type questions and they'll slip sometimes, but not for the most part. So I agree. Do you think if they didn't have all of the injuries, would Adam Peters get all the heat for the season? Of course. If we had all those injuries and we still ended up 5-12, hey, he'd get a lot of heat. Everybody had heat. The injuries are not the sole reason why this season was lost, but the injuries play a huge part. Even with the injuries, we should have won at least 2 more games. We should have won at least 2 more games, even with the injuries. So yeah, man, like injuries is not the only reason, but injuries is because Cliff has said it, Adam P just said it. It's interesting how. Oh, hold on, let me close this. It's interesting how they didn't confirm that Cliff was going to be here. They ain't even confirm if Witt was going to come or go. But they singled them out because they're coordinators. We're going to go back and look at everything. What does that tell you? Because for me, it was important. So, okay, DQ was going to be here. Like, we know that. What about these coordinators? In order for me to not continue to speculate, I want a confirmation. Cliff, we're gonna go see what we need to do better. We're gonna work it off in the off season, blah, 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 blah. And let it play out like that. If he gets a head coach call, then it is what it is. Because it doesn't make any sense to me for you to say we're still looking at everything. What does that actually mean? Because you told me you started that 3 weeks ago. So what else do you need to look at to confirm to you if you're going to let Joe Witt go or Cliff go, or any other coaches. Only thing I can think of is they are waiting to see what else happens in the NFL. That's all I got. What else is going to happen in the NFL? Hey man, it's true. I don't know, man. No one asked him about the rift. I'm surprised. Did y'all hear anything about that? Like, I didn't hear any of them ask them about the rift. I'm surprised. Nobody. I mean, should they? Maybe it's just me. Maybe as a fan, I'm like, man, I want to know, like, what's going on with you and Cliff? What's going on with these rumors out here? Is it true that y'all beefing? Y'all got a rift? What's going on? But I don't know. So, like, this the thing, bro, with Witt. And I think if he is still on the staff, they probably just going to bury him, right? He'd probably be a cornerbacks coach or something like that, secondary coach, cornerbacks coach. Because I don't think DQ just wants to get rid of him, right? And it's going to be up to Witt if he wants to stay, because more than likely they're going to bring in a new defensive coordinator. And I wonder, because, Dan is in control of the coaching staff, right? I mean, AP said it a couple times, and then Dan tried to, like, softly push back that it's a collaborative effort. I don't know if y'all picked that up, right? So, if he brings in a DC, are they going to want their own people? Is the DC going to want their own people? It's very possible. So maybe that's what they waiting on. Maybe they waiting on the DC to decide if Witt is going to stay on that. Because what this is telling me is he's going to be here if it's up to Dan, right? And the rest of the staff. So we just gotta wait. I think if Witt does stay and he takes the demotion, because I don't think he'd get another defensive coordinator job. I don't know if anything he'd get another interview. I mean, he might get a black interview, maybe, but I just don't see him being anybody's defensive coordinator next year. But he absolutely can be somebody's secondary coach, cornerbacks coach, maybe assistant defensive coordinator. Let me see what happens out there. Then I'll find my people once I see. Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like, bro. And I don't like they be asking the same, like, some of the same questions. I'm like, man, like, don't waste your time. Some of y'all only get one question. Like, Candy always crush it. When she get her one question, she always crush it. She specifically asks about the development of your 2024 and 2025 draft class. Todd, he crushed his. Donna crushed hers. John always crushes. Like, you can't just listen to what's already been asked, because you're wasting time. I'm tired of hearing Dan say the same thing over and over, because your question is the same. Why are you 5-12? What do you mean why I'm 5-12? Like, what because it's like you're trying to ask a question to get a different answer because you're looking for a different response. If you're looking for a different response, ask a different question. Recalibrate your question. Dan, how much do you fault this losing year, this 5-12 record? Is it because of injuries? Is it because coaching? Is it because of talent? Ask him a specific question. Do you think injuries was the sole reason why you had 5 wins? It's the same question, but it's going to force him to answer it differently. Because now he can't go off on a tangent and try to loop in everything into this one answer. Specifically ask him, do you think you, even with the injuries, do you think this was a 5-win team? That's an honest question. It's no drama with that question. It's an honest question. Make him answer it. Now, if he tries to do the try to mollywop the question and go here and go there, all right, cool. I mean, it's your prerogative. They did kind of, bro. But hey, I ain't whatever. I don't know, man. Like I was too emotional last night after the game and into the night. Like I was, man, hey, give me Raheem. And then I looked at the numbers. I was like, no. I do not want Raheem no more. No. So it's a piece of fuse of Jim Schwartz. I know Smokey like Albright. Jack Gannon is now available, but a lot of people, you're looking at these numbers, they don't look too good. You know what I'm saying? But I will, like, for me, when I'm looking at like defensive totals, I'm always wondering, how much play calling was the coach actually involved in. Because offense is flat out known who's calling the plays. If it's an offensive head coach and he's calling plays, flat out known. Yeah. Reporters must have gotten instructions on what not to ask. Only reason I don't think so, right? I don't think they have a red sheet at all. DT was good. Are you with me? Crazy things can happen in the NFL. Some people seriously talking about Phillip Rivers. I mean, listen, man. Jeff Saturday, right? Was it Jeff Saturday? They made a head coach straight off the ESPN desk. The Colts. Was it Jeff Saturday? I think it was, right? Hey, look, man. Phillip Rivers said, yeah, I think I can coach. I know the game in and out. And I'm a great leader. Jesus Christ, man. It would be crazy if Joe Witt was a deal breaker for either side. He better not be no deal breaker. I don't care. Right? He better not be no deal breaker. If that's the case, that's another example of Dan not being able to make tough decisions yet again. Atlanta Dan. Man, this dude, man. Glenn, what it do? His answer would be a little bit of everything. Yeah, I get this part, Tommy. I get this part, right? It's not, but not. And I don't think that's absolutely true all over, right? I mean, some of what we hear maybe, but we're not there for the whole. Like you didn't watch the whole presser for all of the losing teams like you did this Commanders one. All you hear is whatever like a national person might repost. But follow some of the local media of those other teams and listen to these whole pressers. Like media in different areas. Areas is the wrong word, but y'all know what I'm saying. In different cities and markets, different media and different. It's a difference between small markets and big market teams, right? And we're considered a big market, believe it or not. And after all the things that we've been through, like a lot of our local media is just starting to like get the umph back. No coach wants to blame injuries, even though it's the main reason because you have yeah, because now you're saying because of injuries I can't build up depth but I mean to some cases like the wide receiver room, for instance, I mean, man, what you expect? You got your top guys going down. Remember, at one point we had Chris Moore, Robbie Chosen, Jalen Lane, Luke, right? Like, and Chris Moore was leading the team in targets for like 3 straight weeks. You're right, Jeff Saturday. And same thing, Phillip Rivers, only high school, position coach, no nothing. Jeff Saturday was a starting center. He lost 200 pounds. He started talking behind the desk, coach high school, and went all the way to the Colts. Even though it was half the year, but so what? You had I forgot who the D coordinator, because I know we talked about it a lot. But you had other guys other coaches that was there, already established, already have parking spaces, already have access to the building. Don't need to take that picture for a key card. You had all of those guys already there, and you decide to go take a dude who's just on get up. Oh man. Should the Commanders trade down? No. Unless some blue chippers fall. And who are those blue chippers? That's something we're going to talk about as the season goes on. The show Commanders draft coverage show is going to start up in a few weeks. It's going to be on Sundays, like 7:30, 8. And we're going to talk about how many blue chippers, because usually every draft, luckily if you get 5 blue chippers. Luckily. And most of the time, they're not quarterbacks. So luckily, you get 5 blue chip players in the draft. Luckily. And a lot of times, those guys go within the top 10 because you got quarterbacks that come up and all that other stuff. And a lot of quarterbacks are not blue chippers. So I'm not talking about starting players or teams that's going to start. I'm talking about blue chippers. Right? We're at pick 7, and we have an opportunity to get a blue chipper. A blue chipper is more important than additional assets. A blue chipper is more important than a second round pick. A blue chipper is more important than a player I can get at 18, 19 and a third round pick. A blue chipper is more important than that. So nah, man, I don't want to trade down unless the blue chippers are gone, or if it's to a spot where it's still going to be a blue chipper right there. And he'll I was thinking about that too. We talked about that today earlier on Riddle Radio, and shout out to y'all that listens to Riddle Radio. We on Riddle Radio every morning from 8 to 10 on X. It's all audio. We also have a link for fans to come in and join if they want to come. It's audio, so you don't have to show your face, nothing like that. We just talking audio. But that's the thing is but from this showing, this showing that they had on this presser, it doesn't give you hot seat. It doesn't give me hot seat vibes. I don't think Dan Quinn is on the hot seat. So for a premium defensive coordinator, that should give them confidence, or that should soothe them a little more if they want to come here and take on that role. Because this press conference, they showed that they are still on the same page. They was feeding off of each other. They wasn't cutting each other off. They was praising each other. They talk about everything that they do is a collaborative effort. All of that things, they gave you all the signs that you wanted them to give you if you was a defensive coordinator and your biggest hiccup is this going to be the coach? Am I going to have to be out here again next year looking for another job? This interview should have soothe your thoughts on that. I think Kyle Shanahan got a pretty huge voice. I think Kyle Shanahan's voice is louder than Dan Quinn's. I mean, maybe because of the experience and the, he's been a head coach longer and success and whatever. But I absolutely think Kyle Shanahan's voice is louder than John Lynch's. Yeah, they hand in hand. Yeah. Shout out to Irsay, man. Shout out to Irsay, man. He always get a shout out for me, man. He know what he did. Man, so we got to get Dan up out of here. Lil White. I just think that he's just having respect for Ertz because I don't know how the injury thing works. Right when a player gets injured, but they not under contract, like I don't know if he's going to be, like I don't know how that works. I will try to find that out this off season. But he's not going to dog him, right? Like he came in, he produced. But one thing he did say, like, I don't think he's going to be ready to open a year up. So I absolutely think that, he's not going to be on a mind or he's not going to deter them from making any moves for a tight end. Like having the possibility of Zach Ertz at the age he is in November of next year, I don't think is going to hinder them from making any tight end decisions. So if you was a person that wanted them to get like a Likely, a Pitts, a Chig from Tennessee, like I don't think that should change your thought process at all from what he said about Zach Ertz. All good, man. Caleb Downs, yeah, he is. Like that's what I'm saying, right? Like I cannot pass up on a blue chip player. And I know safety is one of those questionable ones, man, with people like top 10 and all that. But some players, man, like there are exceptions to the rule, man. I can't wait to watch them. I haven't watched them. I haven't really watched a lot of guys as much. Just kind of looked at some numbers. I'm about to, because I just refused to do it while the season was going on. Yes, I'm that guy, right? I'm that guy. But I'm about to take a huge dive and from the little bit of investigative stuff I've done on Caleb Downs. He can do it all. Like he's just not a safety. He's just not a safety. Like he can play all over that secondary. So that's something I'm interested in seeing. But yes, he seems to be a blue chipper for sure. Yeah, Lemon. Hey, I think that's dog time, man, right? Jeremiah Love. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Jeremiah Love. I think he's a blue chipper. I ain't yeah, blue clippers. I know what you're talking about. But think about it. When it comes to Jeremiah, the running back, I think like he's not going to get past the Chiefs. He's not going to get past the Chiefs, right? They picked Bill in the 7th round last year, and he got 800 yards on probably half of the snaps as his counterparts, right? Or if not half, a quarter less than the snaps than his counterparts, because he's only played 8 games, something like that, or started 8 games, something like that, right? And it's not like he's getting 12, 15 carries a game, right? The games that he go off, he's getting those 18 carries or whatever. The other games he's not getting a lot, right? So you have and he's got rookie of the week 4 times. So you have that, right? You got C-Rod. I think they bring back C-Rod. And remember, like a lot of times when I'm talking in this offseason about what we should bring back, I'm thinking 90 man, not 53. So always keep that in mind. I'm thinking 90 man, not 53. So C-Rod and McNichols is probably somebody that you'll think that they'll bring back. But for me, my RB1 in the offseason is Kenneth Walker. That's my RB1 is Kenneth Walker. Right? Kenneth Walker. And if you can get Rashad White is begging to come here. I don't know what his money gonna look like, but if you can get somebody like him and Kenneth Walker, I think you got a very strong backfield. I think you got a very strong backfield. And a lot of times what happens with teams that get injured like this, they kind of start overcompensating a little bit with some position groups because they're afraid that it might end up how it was. This is why I think we might, like, even if we do get Ayuk or something like that, it's still a chance we might get 2 wide receivers, bro, or might get one in the draft early, especially with the edge. I mean, Adam Peters said it. Like, like, what other position did he actually mention during this whole interview? Pass rusher, pass rusher, pass rusher. That's the one position that he actually named through this whole presser. That means something. That means something, bro. Yeah, man. Like when you look at the draft, like look at it like this, bro. My second round pick went to Laramie Tunsil. Do Laramie Tunsil pass blocking, and then the fourth round could be Laramie Tunsil run blocking. There you go. Yeah, man, gotta get younger. Gotta get younger. Slim was good. Happy New Year, homie. Cal is also Mike's son. He's been around. Yeah. But I mean, Dan been around too now. Let's not mistake. Dan been around a long. He got a lot of relationship. He's been around a long time. What's up, Teddy? Adam Peters. I trust he will learn from this season and get us back on track. I hope so. Sean Taylor was pick 5. He also said he needs to get a better defense for Jayden. So yes, I love that. I love that response, bro. When they talked about how can you prevent Jayden from getting injured? Look, we got to get more talent around. I don't know what Dan gonna say about the scheme, schematics, and all that, but we need to get more talent around him. We need to get more talent around him so he doesn't have to be heroic. He doesn't have to feel like he has to be heroic. So let's get more talent around him. Bro, I think we're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I think we're gonna get some big moves in free agency and in the draft, bro. He ain't say nothing teaching them how to slide, throw out a ball out of bounds. He said no. We need to get more talent around him. But it's contrary to popular belief, y'all believe that Cliff is out there calling 10 QB runs a game, off tackles and draw. Like he's not, bro. A lot of times Jayden is running because either he's coming off of his progressions too early or them dudes just not getting separation. And he had a game when he didn't have Terry, Debo, or Noah Brown. His number one was Chris Moore. Oh, you're saying that you're trading. You just want defensive blue chippers. If it's offensive blue chippers, there you're trading down. Oh, I got you. But for me, I'm taking the blue chipper. I don't care who they are, except for Jeremiah Love. Maybe right now. Maybe I don't know, man. Like I just think they're gonna get. I just want Kenneth Walker, and if they don't get Kenneth Walker, if they don't get the kid from the Jets, Brees Hall, who else? I think that's probably it that would prevent me from going Jeremiah Love. Rashad White, no, he won't do it. Dowdle, no, he won't do it. ETN, no, he won't do it. None of those guys will prevent me from still going out to Jeremiah Love, but Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker. So we just got to see when we get there. Happen with what? And again, man, I appreciate all y'all for pulling up, man. Like if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. If you want to be part of the Riddle community, where we break down film and all that on the in a webinar version, not on YouTube, it's in a webinar version. Got some merch we get percentages off. You just want to support the old boy, and we absolutely appreciate it. We're trying to do go a little bit bigger in 2026, do more things, provide more content. Want the content to look a little more crispier. And sometimes like you just can't make it look crispier. You need some add-ons to make it look a little crispier. So we absolutely appreciate y'all, man, for sure. Benjamin, no matter how bad the defense is, you cannot go defense round one with wide receiver 36, 32 separation drop rate. That's kind of like where I'm at. I think it's an argument for both sides. Like for us, for me and you that want to go wide receiver, it's an argument for us to have. We can provide the numbers, we can provide the stats, right? For the people that want to go defense first round, it's an argument for them. They can provide the number, they can provide the stats. The one thing we all agree with is that we need talent and we need blue chippers. But can we decide on it doesn't matter, just give us the time. If you say give me BPA, and it's a blue chip and you take it even if it's Jeremiah Love, you take it because you want to add talent, right? So I think it's arguments on both sides. Yeah, he's much better than B-Rob, bro. It's I don't have no doubt about it. He's a more natural running back. C-Rod is too. There you go. As much as I talked about C-Rod getting cut 12 times last year. And I haven't really watched B-Rob. I wonder, so he's on the last, so we play San Fran next year. So if they re-sign him, we're going to see B-Rob next year. As bad as the season was, I am a tidbit excited to acquire. And I am too. Right? The season is over. 2026, new hope. New hope, baby. New hope. That's why somebody was like, they're not going to tell us the truth. No, they're going to lie to us because they're trying to build hope. They're trying to sell hope. This is what fandom is all about. Believing the hype, believing the hope. But here we go. Yep. Slim say he good off the running back. Rashad White, Isaiah Likely, and Brandon Ayuk for offense. Rashad White job begging, bro. Baby, I'm begging, baby. I'm begging, baby. Baby, I'm begging, baby. I'm begging, baby. Like, I don't know about beggars, bro. One thing about people, about beggars is they latchy. They latch on, bro. He might get jealous of Jayden in this relationship with Terry and different players. I don't know, man. But look, you want to come in for $3-4 million? Come on, bro. But them the type of players that help you build your roster up. You get you some players that want to come in. Shoot. You got to do it, man. I think this offseason, they're going to be aggressive, especially when you have to pay Jayden. So, like, this is the thing with Jayden, right? We got to remember, yes, after next year, he is eligible for a rookie contract extension. Yes, he is eligible for it. You'll get a signing bonus. But it will not affect the cap until 2029, 2030. So even when, like, you got to get that money in escrow, like, you got to, like, but it still doesn't affect the cap. So it's not like a huge rush, but at the same time, you want to start establishing your team, right? You want to start establishing a pattern, right? You want to get some of these young guys to start hitting, right? You want to start hitting on these draft picks, these young free agents that you sign. And then as the years go on, every year you might add a vet here and there, to kind of, because this is the issue, right? My issue with age, because think about this, right? When we talk about the team is old, like, you want to think about what old player that's producing, what old player is not producing that's getting meaningful snaps? Think about that. What old player is not producing that's getting meaningful snaps? You're going to say Bobby Wagner, right? I get it. But I know, like, most of his tackles is 3 yards downfield, but Bobby is still a starting middle linebacker on a few teams in the NFL right now, right? And we know he's a huge liability. I don't want him here. Thank you, Bobby, right? You came here, you got a free education at Howard, you got your little jacket, all this good stuff, right? Shout out to you, right? That was pretty much it. The players that make us old doesn't contribute on offense and defense in that sense. And if they are producing. Zach Ertz, producing. You want to call Terry old? Producing. Laramie Tunsil, like, he's elite. He's in that tier one of left tackles where they can play elite ball well into their 30s. He's producing, right? Who else? Dietrich Wise was older. He ended up getting hurt on the defensive side, right? Von Miller, he wasn't even supposed to be getting as many snaps as he is now. When we signed him, it was all about 10, 15 snaps, a closer to close out games. Now he's starting on 4th and 1 because of all of the injuries. That was one of my that was a fear of mine coming into this year is having to have Von Miller play meaningful snaps. Right, Jonathan Jones, he was like the third corner. Like Will Harris was a starter. Who else? So when you think about the old players, you're thinking about Tress Way, Nick Ballore. And mind you, Nick Ballore was 10th in special teams and Pro Bowl voting. So he's still producing on special teams. So it's Tress Way, Pro Bowler. But still, Johnson, the quarterback, he's 39 years old. Right? Trent Scott is in his 30s. Right? So it's not like these guys are preventing younger players from playing. Right? Because the older people that are out there, they are producing at an NFL level, and the person behind them is not going to be better than them. The issue with the tight end Zach Ertz, even he was producing, yes, but it was a time that we wanted to start saying what Santa could do when we looking towards the future. So I'll give you Zach and Bobby, even though they were still producing. It might not be where we wanted them to produce at, but they were still giving you something. They both could be starters on other teams right now. Right? So my issue, I don't know, y'all can't be speaking Spanish, man. Yep, we need David Bangon and Love available at 7. I'm taking Love over Downs and Bailey all day. B-Rock, 400 yards on 97 carry. Wide receiver is the most overrated position in sports. The best wide receiver in the league is a 5th rounder. Meanwhile, first round wide receivers like Jamar, JJ, and Lamb sitting at home. So, but Kevin, that's not fair. Like you can't use individual success and compare it to team success. That's not fair. Look, John Johnson will be 40 years old next year. Joel McGee is a guy who can fill in for B-Wag and play very well. So I'm just interested in him. Like, depending on, like, we kind of run a 3-4, right? A 3-4 heavy. He's playing a lot of that weak side beside Bobby. So I wonder if he can do that Mike. I don't know, bro. I hope so. Like, I'm really lean. I'm going to watch him again in the offseason. I'm really leaning to have him there. And I'm gonna be okay with it because I think he has the tools, man, to be a dog on this team. So this is my issue. This is my issue with the age. Actually, I'll be right back. Hold it down, y'all. Appreciate y'all for holding it down. Yeah, we definitely need a safety. Who do you want as a DC? I gotta look. I was excited about Raheem last night, but I looked at some numbers and I was like, oh no, never mind. Don't give me him. So I'm gonna do some looking, man. I'm gonna watch it over the next few days and see what we got. Yeah, man. I mean, even last year, right? Like he was like top 5 at some points last year, and most tight end statistical categories. I want to check out the run back name, Mike Wash. Write that down, dog tag. Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas. Dog tag, my stat man. He be helping me with a lot of these players. So add him to the list, dog. Mike Washington. Ertz was productive, but the problem is when you're an older guy and have that kind of energy. Oh yeah, like I'm not like I ain't thinking about Ertz coming back. All right, that's it. Like, thank you for what you've done, but nah, I'm good. Jardarian Price. So this is my issue with our age, and then we're going to get up. We're going to get up out of here. This is my issue, right? We're all. Oh yeah, I haven't heard too. I heard something about Wink like last week. Cause what's that? Michigan, right? No. Yeah. Michigan, right? Cause he got did they fire Wink? Did he decide to keep Wink? Cause I thought he got another defensive coordinator. So I don't know what's going on up there with Wink. But my issue is having multiple 30-year-olds at a singular position, and more so a premium position, right? Like edge rusher. If I'm going into the season with 5 edge rushers, right? 3 of them can't be 30. 3 of them can't be 30. Right? If I had my way, one of them would be 30. Just like when it comes to Jacob Martin, Dietrich Wise, Von Miller, even though I know Dietrich Wise is a little different from them, but pick one. Pick one. I got Dorrance Armstrong. I got an up-and-comer or a developmental piece in Baptiste. I have a rookie that we're going to draft first or third, whatever. You got that rookie, and then you have another player that you could probably bring on or sign or someone like that can be that's 27 or younger. That's an edge rush that can help out, and then the guy to solidify the group. Right? You want your young guys to lead the group, and you want the older guys to solidify the group. Be the glue of the group, bring the group together. That's when you have Von Miller, Jacob Martin, and one of those guys. I don't want all 3 of those guys. I want no Preston Smith. I want any of those. And I'm just talking about going into with the 53, right? And that's any position group. I know it's not possible for all of the position groups, but most the premium ones, like wide receiver. This is why I want a young wide receiver, right? You got Terry gonna be playing at 31, right? Shoot, they ain't really got nobody else on contract. I mean, Burks is young, Luke is young, Jalen Lane is young. But let's just think about like they talking about Ayuk, right? Or maybe another like Ayuk is coming off of the injury, a year and a half. Right, I believe in the medicine. Like these athletes are just different, so I don't think it's going to be a big impact. Similar to Stephon Diggs, but he's 26. He's 27, I think, with coming off that injury. Yeah, that's cool. I ain't too mad. But don't bring in no other 30-year-old wide receivers, or no 28 or no 29-year-old wide receivers. Give me a rookie wide receiver and get me a young wide receiver out the draft. It's out of free agents. Always young guys in free agent. Give me like 2 or 3 of them. Sound like 2 or 3 of them in free agency and draft one. Right? Because when you're thinking about adding talent and trying to get younger and being able to get players that you can kind of build and develop, right? You're not going to find 20-year-olds in free agency, right? You're going to find the 24, 25, 26-year-olds. But even with them, they looking for a second contract, right? So give me them. Give me ones that you can see your trajectory and not some guys that's going downhill. Same thing with running back, right? Especially running back. We don't need no 30 or 28, 29-year-old. Like, we don't need any of those, bro. On the other side of the ball, speed. We need speed out there. Some of those guys are young, but they slow. Quan said, "Oh, y'all want to bench me in the first quarter? Watch this. Touchdown. I'm going to do what I always do." Right? You got a young boy Amos coming back. You got Mikey coming back. I mean, can Mikey play safety? I don't know what's going on, man. Like, but I need him on the field though. But I don't know, man. Like, I need a defensive quarter that can put Mikey in positions to make plays without like keeping him restrictive somewhere. Because he's a ball hawk, he's a playmaker. I want another corner, outside corner. They probably I gotta look at some free agents. I don't know if they'll do that in the draft or not. I don't know. Yep, exactly. Pick one. Do you be aggressive in the drafts who move back in the first round this year by using capital for 2027? That's interesting. Because I heard like a lot of people was telling me that 2027 is deep with talent. Deep with talent. So two things, right? If it's as deep as people are projecting it to be, yes, you'll be able to give up some collateral next year to get back into this year. Because teams is like, look, especially those teams that have talent in premium positions and they got pretty good depth, they'll do it because they believe that they'll get better talent next year. Or you could just keep your pick and wait till next year. Yeah, he's going to have a heavy market, bro. And I don't know if we're going to chase him and pay him that money. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we'll see. Ayuk lost 2-3. 2-3 what? What's CL? I'm slow right now. I ain't mad. Yeah, that's what I heard. 2027 is crazy talent. Yeah, he was very bad this year. I wonder, how many yards did he give up after he moved to outside? I was thinking about that the other day. I don't know. That was a good press conference, though. Oh, one more thing before I go. How do you guys? So, like, guys and gals, when it comes to defensive coordinator, I know a lot of any of you guys want Al Harris. This is my only thing. This is the only thing with Al Harris is Dan going into his third year. For one, I don't think he wants another rookie coordinator. I don't think he will want a rookie coordinator because I know I don't want him to have another rookie coordinator. I want someone with experience, someone that knows their system in and out, someone that he'll allow to run their own system. Because check this out, man. Like if he hires someone from his tree or from his staff, he's gonna start giving me Jay Gruden vibes, being afraid to bring in someone that might change up some stuff. Right. So I don't know. That's why I kind of want to. And then think about this. Like I know he's a player's coach. He developed some great players in this league over the last 3 years. He's been a part of it. But one thing that hasn't happened is that he hasn't got any defensive coordinator opportunities. Right. I mean, even with the Cowboys promoted him to passing game coordinator just so we won't get him. And I'm kind of thinking like that's probably what we were going to make him. or make him a cornerbacks coach or something, or secondary coach. I kind of forgot when Donatello came into hand when we signed him, but Dallas blocked that. But he's been under 3 different defensive coordinators these last 3 years. So what defense is he going to run? Whose defense is he going to run? Is he going to bring people with him? Or he's just going to run Dan defense, and Dan's going to have to end up doing the same thing that he did with Joe Witt? Is the fan base going to give him time? Because think about this: if the defense is bad again, I mean, I don't know, right? If we don't hit 500 or we hover around 500, everybody might be gone, and that's going to be a stench on his record. Dan wants to be a CEO. I don't care. I know he said he's going to be heavily involved, but he gave up play calling duties when he was in Atlanta. He came here and said he didn't want to call plays. He probably was forced to do it this year. I just think he wants to be a CEO. And if that's the case, he doesn't have time to be peeking into the defensive coordinator rooms every 10, 15 minutes, helping them game planning and all that. Oh, that came out? Because I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen. He's the only, let me see. I haven't, outside of those rumors from over the weekend, the Giants requested like this, or is having interviews with some other player. None of them mentioned Cliff. Cliff hasn't been mentioned yet. Not saying that he hasn't got opportunities or calls or whatever, but he hasn't been mentioned yet. So still got time though. I don't know, bro. It's just tricky. It's tricky for sure. Oh, they say Trae Young going to the Wizards? Yeah, did you see that today though? Or did you see that over the weekend? All right, man. I'm about to get out. If Cliff leaves, don't know who you bring in. It's gonna be some candidates out there. Oh, Jordan Schultz said that? Oh, let me see. I must have missed that. Oh, was that over the weekend? Maybe that was over the weekend, I think. Yeah, there you go. That's what y'all talk about. Oh, no, that was from the day. The expectations that the Titans, Giants, and I did see this, and other teams. Yeah, I did. I even bookmarked it. Teams with other team openers will request to interview Commanders offensive coordinator Cook game for their coaching job. I did see this. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I did see that. My bad. My bad, y'all. All right, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Remember, tomorrow, if you're on X early in the morning, If you want to hear some sports talk, we have Riddle Radio on X starting at 8 a.m. with Brandon and Unc. We most usually talk all things Commanders, but we do mix up all types of stuff in the morning, especially with this Wizards news. So we definitely gonna talk about that. Yeah, I just forgot. Again, if you're listening, you're not subscribed, please do. It's in the link. Those of you that are on X, if you would like to subscribe, absolutely appreciate it. I also put the link on in there on X, so you can subscribe there to the channel. And I appreciate all of your support. If you want to join the community, that's also at the top of the comments. If you want to join the Riddle community on YouTube. And I appreciate your time. I know your time is very valuable for you spending with me. I absolutely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.